The 690 is starting to come together, but there's still some improvements I'd like to make. In this video, I add a few upgrades for protection and usability. In episode 1, I tested the completely stock bike. Episode 2 helped the bike reach higher performance with the intake, exhaust, and tune. Now the goal is durability and utility. Nothing major, but a few upgrades that make the bike a lot more practical to ride and travel with. First up are these Cyrca brush guards. The stock plastic guards look okay, but I wouldn't trust them to protect anything when the bike goes down. These are full wrap aluminum guards, so they actually protect the controls. Surprisingly, I found these on the Amazon KTM store, but they are pretty expensive, around $200. Install is pretty straightforward, but the clearance is a little tight, especially since the 690 wasn't specifically listed as compatible. Clearance was pretty good around the master cylinder and throttle tube, but I did have to cut off the ball ends of the levers and file them down. The fitment wasn't perfect on the center bar clamps either, but once everything was lined up and torqued down, they felt pretty solid. With both sides installed, the controls are now fully protected, and what I like most is how well they match the factory graphics and color scheme. You'd think they came stock. The next upgrade is this NiceCNC tailtop rack. The 690 is a great bike, but stock you can't really carry much. This rack adds a solid mounting point for luggage, and I believe it also works with Rotopack's fuel mounts for extending the range in the backcountry. The rear plastic should have drill points so the rack can bolt into points on the rear subframe. What stood out to me here was the build quality of the rack. Everything lined up cleanly with the mounting points and felt sturdy, which isn't always the case with Chinese aftermarket parts. NiceCNC definitely makes some quality products, and besides the utility, I think the rack makes the bike look a lot more complete. I also added a few smaller pieces from NiceCNC, including a larger rear brake foot pad, as well as both a front and rear ABS cable guide. Pretty small upgrades, but the larger foot pad makes it easier to find the rear brake when riding standing up or on one wheel. The cable guides just clean up the ABS cables a bit while adding some orange accents.
Third gear gets going fast. Yeah.
Nothing crazy in this episode, but these are the kinds of upgrades that make the bike easier to live with. Next up, I'll be testing a couple different headlight upgrades because the stock lighting on the 690 leaves a lot to be desired. I tested a couple different setups, ranging from pretty cheap to more expensive, and one of them was a clear winner.